Yep, today I will be making more austerities. So, I'm going to be making 2 today, and I know this is right after the 16 one, but there's been a slight change of plans. Well, ever since I made 16, I've kind of just wanted to do 6, or Wilbert, and I'll explain who this is, like, instantly after, so I'm going to be making more of these, like 2 more. And here's the thing, you may notice this is a cardboard box. I'm filming somewhere a little different, and who knows, I might film here a bit, might not, just trying it out, and just put it in the box here so I don't mess up the table and stuff. So, first of all, Wilbert will be made from 3 things. Ben, well, just this, a old Thomas chassis because I don't have a Percy one, and a Percy shell that I got from a lot. And here's the thing about this Thomas, I need to replace the back wheel because somehow this broke off, and again, I got this a lot that came with the Thomas and Percy and a few other things, and yeah, it was really just spare parts, so yeah, I'm just gonna do that. And Toaster here, it's an old Mimo-C of mine, and although I want to keep it in a similar look, I do want to change it up a bit, like maybe just different lining, all that kind of stuff. This was overall just meant to be for fun, so and I kind of want to make this look official. So, first thing I'm going to do, just take all the stuff that I need to use, just take it apart. Here's everything taken apart, and you see you got the boiler or saddle tank part, the cab, and for this, just the parts from before. And if you notice, these are different wheels, and the thing is, for 16, or not 16, Wilbert, I don't know why I'm getting that confused so much. I'm either going to do black wheels with the white around it, so this will just make it a bit easier since I have these from another project. I can just make new ones later. But or I might do blue with like black on the outside instead, so if that was the case, I'd just swap these wheels out for other ones. But for now, I might use these. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to start cutting stuff down. And it will be a similar case to 16, like I'll make this all smooth, cut all this down, cut the boiler, or dome, other thing, and funnel off. And this would just be flattened down, cut back a bit. But for this one, I gotta do a few things. One, I gotta make this straight, so I just cut it down like the middle part. The back is probably fine, except for like I just need to flatten this part. And same for here. But one thing I'm gonna do for, what's his name? Ben, this part right here, I'm going to kind of keep on, because it'll help for, like, a base later. But, pretty much, I'll be doing all just the cutting down, making everything smooth and all that. Here's everything, and the back of the normal table. But, I cut a lot of stuff down. So, one, you got the holes in the top, and I'm going to show it for this one, too. I do have the, stuff saved, just not really a place where I can look for them. I gotta sort through them real quick. But yeah, I do have them still. I cut this down a bit because if I can give like a representation, I'm gonna kind of be like this. So try to cut that to a reasonable length. And I also tried to give the tanks a little curve at the bottom, as well as a little indent in the smoke box. And besides like sanding and all that, that's really it for this part. Now on here. One, you got it shortened. And you see 16 in the back. I'm using him for a bit of a base. You got the back flattened and all that. A little curve on here. And basically same with all this. Pretty simple. And you got the little indents in the smoke box as well as... Wait. Yeah, I did the curve. It just kind of looked like I didn't do it for 1 sec. And if you remember, I was going to use a Thomas chassis, but I ended up just grabbing this from an old project. And just cutting it down, sanding it, flattening this part. Oh, yeah, I also flattened the parts. So what I can do now is really the shaping. And what that'll be is just filling in the cab back for both of these. Working on the bottom parts a bit. as well as filling the top and gluing the stuff back on. Well, the dome, the water intake, I'll just call it that, and the funnel. So, I'll start on all of that right now. Alright, so here's the shaping all done. And you see I just have them temporary fitted, because, yep, but I'll go over the stuff. So, I did a whole lot. First, I'll give a little slow view. And now I'm going to take it apart slightly. So, for here, I'm going to go over the main pain of both of these, the handrails. They are just hard to do. but they do look nice. In the bottom, you got boiler details, as well as like a little reverser or whatever it's called. You got the sides covered up with the window. The back's the same. Same stuff on the other side, and as well as the boiler slightly just covered over. You got the whistle and these three parts. On top, you just got this like little air door or whatever you call it. Now, for toaster here, you got the handrails. It's basically all the same stuff. The front covered up and a little lamp iron thing since the old one broke. I'll just do a little 360 since there isn't too much to point out. And here, this one has something different, and is in the front's kind of custom built because I cut through this for a front coupler back in the past. And as well as another thing, you see this? It's just the same thing like I cut the motor off, or an old motor, and just made it so I could put the stuff on it. So, what I'm going to do now is just start painting it in space colors. So, for Wilbert, it'll be blue, and for Toaster, it'll be black. But since I'm going to be painting like the black anyway, I'm going to do the black details as well. Like, you know how I always do like the front, the roof, all that. I'll just do all that basically. So, I'm going to paint all the blue and black parts right now. Here's everything with the base coat down. And first I'll go off Wilbert, and as well as I did do the black paint. And the thing about this blue, I was a little skeptical on it, but I do think it looks pretty good. But also it lumped a bit, if you can see. But it's not too major, so I think it's okay. But for the black paint, you got the coal, the roof, the front, and the funnel. And you got his running board, except for like the front and back. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. And now, for Toaster, you got just black all over the paint. Same thing for Wilbert's running board for him. Just black everywhere except for the front and back. And you can see back here you got all the wheels. And same here. I'm not meaning to flip them. But if you look like for these, it's kind of shoddy around the edges. But that's because I'm going to do, well, similar to 16. You see how there's black on the just rims? I'm going to be doing that. And, well, same for Toaster, but with white. And so what I'm going to do now is the lining. And for Wilbert, it's just going to be, you know, average red, all that. But for Toaster here, it's, if you know the older design, or what I've shown in the beginning, it was just like rainbow coloring. Like blue, yellow, red, if I got it in the right order. But for this, I'm going to go simple, just white paint, or white lining. Because as much as I would like to just kind of mess around, because this is basically a Mimosi, with the work I'm putting into this, I want it to look decent. Although I do think it looks pretty cool, I want to be a bit realistic. But for 16, like something I'm going to do with Toaster, you know how it has the black around the lining? I'm going to be doing that, but with a dark brown, hence the name Toaster, Toast Brown. So, I'll just start working on all that lining stuff. Next scene, and here's Toaster. First, I'll go over the minor things like the wheels. Decided to give them white walls, and I think they look pretty good. Here you got the middle wheel, and on here, you got nothing new, except for the pistons colored, because I want to make this slightly cursed, and I'm planning on, well, of course, I'm not going to give him extended side rods, but I'm planning on, like, just pretending it has outside of cylinders. Let's put it as that. Now, for the main body, this was a total pain. You got white lining on the saddle tank, the front, and the side. But if you notice, I also did like a bit of brown. Might be a bit hard to notice. And this made it all just a pain. But I think it's alright. And I know I said I might not put it in, but I decided to give the rainbow lining just a little less. You got red, yellow, kind of orange, green, and blue on the back. And I don't know if it's catching in the light, but I also did the brown around these. Here, let me try and use my light. There. So you see, I did the brown. It's not very noticeable, but once you do, I do think it comes together well. And so, now I can just work on the final details for Wilbert and Toaster. Here they are, all complete. Now, I also put the clear coat on because I'm in a bit of a rush, but I'll go over it. So, first of all, you got the nameplate Wilbert. It's a little thick, but I think it's okay. And I also added an LMR. I think that's a nice addition, as well as like a little builder's plate, as I've been doing a lot. You also got the windows, did some in the back, as well as the front. You got a gold whistle, and I also put this lamp thing on. And you got the handrails painted black. That's it for Wilbert. Well, except for you got his buffer beam and stuff painted, the silver buffers. You got the side, the white line. Same on the back, other side. Now for Toaster, I did like the most for this. You got his old nameplate, Toaster 2.0. You got the silver handrails, the British Railways logo and the builder's plate, lamp in the back. And you got the red outline and the silver buffers. You got a red line on the side. Same stuff on the back, on the front. And the wheels are the same, and here's some side rods. And now I can just assemble them. And here they are, all complete. And first I'll go over Wilbert, and if you notice, I have his face on. And this is something I'm going to be doing more. I'm just going to have the face on while I do that, because the one extra small step, probably, I don't know, I just don't think I have to do the other small step. You know, when I say, all that's left is the face, I'm going to stop doing that. So, yeah, let's put that face on when I do this. Now, I really do think these were worth it. Like, of course, I did my own little take on Wilbert, and I do think it looked pretty well. Like, of course, at the same time, I did base it off an actual, like, LMR, London Military Railway, if I am mistaken or not mistaken. I based it off one of those austerities, but at the same time, gave it some things like the black walls on the wheels. And the thing is, I did, like, assemble these a bit ago, but there was so much friction on the wheels, like you see they're free-rolling now. It just did not do that at all. But yeah, I like the inclusion of the little lamp, and yeah, I just think it looks really good. And now, Toaster. So Toaster, even though he's done, he's still might need a bit more work, because the front wheel, it's not his original front wheel, it's the one to the... If you remember the ones I showed for Wilbert, like I might just use them instead. This is the front one. The back one I might have to redo because I used a paint pen instead of like a brush. And if you notice, they kind of did mess up, so I probably will have to. As well as he actually had red side rods before. You see these. But they kind of just broke. If you see it, they chipped. So, just replaced them with normal white ones. And oh boy, Toaster. Seriously, if you... Of course, I've never really shown Toaster off too much. But... how do I say this? Like, he's been seen once, I think, in, like, an old video. But the old version, I'm being honest, it kind of sucked. So, the new version, even though this is basically a meme, or just a joke OC, I do think it looks pretty good for the amount of work I put into it. Like, these nameplates, I had them for a while. I just reprinted them from archives, I guess that's the way of saying it. As well as, like, just the inclusion of brown, I think that fits it, because toast. And I've been doing more back lamps recently. So, that's really it. And actually, one last thing, a little surprise here, is 16. Now, I know I showed him last episode, but ignore the face, but I tried weathering him. Like, I got some weathering powder, because I've heard some people are using it. And I do feel I overdid it, but at the same time, I do think it fits 16. But yeah, it's like, this little short 16 weathered him a lot. I don't know, I do feel it like suits a Steelworks vibe. So... 3 of them. Oh, and actually just like, I'm gonna do this. Man, I've been like doing this clip for like 3 minutes. But, alright, here is Wilbert and 16 done and sort of, wait, I keep calling one 16. Alright, here's Wilbert and Toaster done and 16. And thank you all for watching, and goodbye.